tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Not a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you say that I lock it in your pocket, taking this one to the grave. And I show you that I know you don't tell what I say, 'cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Oh, shit.
You always forget your part, Hannah.
Listen, I was doing something else this time. I was doing a bunch of these. Yeah,
I have to say that you guys got me to sing on this show, which I said I would never do, so props to you guys for that happening.
It wasn't us, it's the song.
You did really good today.
You did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to another Pretty Little Liars after show. This is, of course, Season 6, Episode 3, Songs of Experience. And we are streaming live on YouTube tonight, so get on the chat and let us know what you're thinking about the show. If you thought this was like the biggest reveal ever, or you were kind of disappointed, let us know. You can also always find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Rate, comment. We love hearing from you, and this group, we're big on favorites and retweeting and all that jazz and commenting back at you, so always you can tweet at us as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm Stephanie Wenger, and you can tweet me at Stephanie Wenger.
I'm Kristin Strange, and you can tweet me at Kristin_Strange. And I'd just like to say, someone said our singing is getting less painful, so
Yeah.
that's a great compliment, I think.
Great. Me now? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Hannah Prichard, and you all can tweet at me at the Hotshot Dude.
I'm Heather Joy Smith, and you guys can tweet at me at Heather Joy Smith.
And before we jump into the show, we want to tell you about another really cool way to get involved with AfterBuzz, and that is to log on to podcast1.com and take a brief survey about what we do here. It helps us know what you like and maybe what you don't like, and it takes about 3 minutes. It's super short and easy, and it just gives us amazing feedback. And again, it's just another way to connect with you all, and that's what we're all about here. So definitely log on, podcast1.com.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So let's jump into this episode and talk about Andrew. This is where I want to start. The girls are obsessed that he's involved. That's kind of where the episode begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're wrong about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wrong because we saw later in the episode that he's angry. It's past, like, I called it confrontational in my notes.
It's definitely past that point.
I would be pissed, too, if someone got me arrested.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he has
true.
every right.
It's completely understandable, but the conversation between him and Arya is I had no doubt in my mind that he's not involved. I don't know how you guys felt. Do you
I don't think he's involved either. I think he was set up to be involved somehow or another by, being hired to do something or something like that. But
Right.
I don't think he's involved in, like, kidnapping, and I don't think he's Charles or A or whatever we're going to call him.
I don't think he's involved, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions, like when Ezra called and we're trying to figure out his records. There are some things about him that we don't know, so I do still think there's something.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think because of the adoption being revealed tonight, I think that could play a part in maybe something going forward. But if he happened to know what Arya did say at the police station, you can tell that would be a real reaction. Like, if someone were to accuse you of all of this and if you actually were completely innocent, like, I could see that being your reaction, that pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could be part of that larger picture in some capacity or know more than he knows, but I don't think he's actually the one orchestrating it all. He's not the one in control.
Right.
At least in my viewpoint. Tweet me. You can totally disagree and say Andrew is the worst.
I think that it's just like Andrew's just like everybody else in Rosewood. He has secrets. So the fact that he was adopted, I'm not like, oh, he's definitely involved, because so many people are adopted, and it's like everyone's got secrets. So it's not just.
I loved more so when Toby offered to give him a ride home, and he was like, no, you beat him up last time.
Yeah.
It cracked me up. But you guys, real quick before we keep going, I do have to ask you guys and all of you guys out there, does driving matter to you? There's over 4 million miles of road in the U.S. to find out. That's a lot of ground to cover. A lot of highways, freeways, wrong ways, long ways. They're all there, waiting to be driven on. So do you take that left turn at Albuquerque, or just keep going? Do you wake up early Sunday morning for a drive before the traffic does? Or do you take the long, winding road home for a change? If driving matters to you, just get out and drive. Why? Because driving matters. Mazda.
Amazing.
Just had to throw that out there for you guys.
No, I
Does driving matter to you?
It does. And you know what? If
does.
it was in a Mazda, it would make me 10 times happier.
Yeah, I feel like the girls needed a Mazda tonight because they needed to get into these answers a little more than they were. I felt like we were very surface level.
Also, side note, they all have super nice cars. I did not have that nice of a car when I was a teenager.
Right.
I know.
True statement.
But I wanted them to dig deeper tonight. That's what I felt like. We had this big tease for this episode of being the big reveal of Charles. And we got more information, but not enough for me anyways.
No, I was not satisfied.
Yeah, I was absolutely not satisfied. We need more information. I have so many questions now, and just like nothing's being answered.
I feel like we're very close to the answers, though. Like, I really, really do. Like, the whole ending, which obviously we'll, like, get to, but I feel like a lot of things were answered in this episode, actually.
Really?
I do. I don't know why, but I thought everything with Sarah and the photograph and her cutting her hair, to me, that, like, leaned towards a lot of answers.
See, I felt completely frustrated by the end of the episode that I
Really?
Me too.
wanted so much more from it, and especially we'll get into the ending, but when it fades off the audio and you can't hear that conversation, that annoyed me more than
I know.
any
It's like last episode.
yeah. So
It's like I can see it happening,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to know for another week, and that really pisses me off.
but I want to back up, and we'll get to the ending. I absolutely promise you. But let's talk about all the girls trying to kind of return to school, get back to normal life. Was the beginning of the episode as well, and we see Aria really struggling with it. I feel like in some ways more than the other girls, where last week she was a little, I don't know, a little more collected. And she's talking to Ezra, and Ezra's kind of like, I'll always protect you. He says it's the place that will protect her, but he really obviously means him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what do we think? Do you think that it was smart that she didn't go back to school, or?
Yeah, I think she was faking that she was put together last week. I think, she was pretending that, oh yeah, I'm fine, I can go to the police, I can do this and that, but she's really not fine.
Well, yeah, I don't feel like any of the girls need to rush back to school. I mean, they just went through something very traumatic. I feel like that excuses any of them from taking, like, at least a semester off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Andrew says that they graduate in 3 weeks. Like, they're not graduating.
I know, right? I love that they
missed
were...
a lot of school.
Yeah.
I love that they said that, too, and they were like, you may be graduating. We're not necessarily graduating.
I feel the most bad for Spencer, too, 'cause she worked so hard, and then it's like, sorry, you got kidnapped, so you're not going to graduate on time. You're probably not going to get into an Ivy League college.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
She will, because Ivy League colleges really do eat up those essays that
That's
are all
true.
out of, like, I had a traumatic experience in my life.
Right.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's busted.
Going back, like, beginning of last season, okay, we kept always saying things like, how are they going to continue on this show if the girls are seniors in high school and they have to go on to college? Well, this may have just opened up that question,
Like,
because
you're not going to college.
they don't get to graduate, so they have to come back after we, obviously go 5 years ahead.
Yeah.
But after that, and we
Yeah.
come back for season 7, they may have to redo senior year.
Fair.
That would be so sad to have that time jump and then reverse back. Be like,
Yeah, right.
Be like, all of a sudden, I need my high school education. So,
I think that's what's most exciting about the time jump, though, that we're going to see, I'm sure there will be opportunity after opportunity for flashbacks of what
Yeah.
that period was like for them, for that
Yeah.
5 years. So did one of them not make it to college? Because you could see that, like the trauma of what they've been through and all of that. Or did they all make it to college? What kind of happened to them in and maybe someone's married by the time we get back.
Yeah.
Oh, probably,
I bet.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who I
I
want.
mean, I think
Ezreal. For sure.
yeah. I mean, I think Marlene King even teased kids as a possibility, which
Oh, yeah.
would be really interesting because that's like 20. They're 22.
Yes, I'm like, that would be very interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I understand the huge time jump, so you want to come back with something like has happened or, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, has developed in these relationships or whatnot. But, like, I think how I was when I just got out of college and I was like, I'm still act like I'm a 16-year-old. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, let's not get carried away, you guys,
Yeah.
just
I feel
because of
like-
the time jump.
I feel like
Please
your life
don't.
between 18 and 22 really isn't that different.
No.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know how at in One Tree Hill they did the time jump? And it
Yes.
was like 18 to 22.
Yeah.
But they were not where I was when I was 22.
No!
So it's probably going to be kind of the same thing. Like
I hope
Spencer's
not.
going to be like the CEO of a company at 22 or something
Yeah.
like that. And like Arya's going to have 2 kids or, you know.
Yeah,
So,
and not to harp on One Tree Hill, but they were also much more mature in
In
some,
high school, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they had marriages in high school
Yeah.
and things like that. But go back and watch One Tree Hill. We'll talk about Pretty Little Liars.
What I don't understand, though, about the time jump is because Marlene King has said that we're going to get all of the answers this season, correct?
I don't know all the
I
answers,
think,
but the
I
majority.
think the Charles story is going to wrap up.
Okay. So what I don't understand then is with them jumping 5 years in the future, they have an entire season to devote on afterlife of finding out who A is. Mm-hmm. And I mean that they this entire show dwells on the drama and us not knowing that. So I'm intrigued to see how they carry on a full season of the show without having that be a continuous question.
Oh, I have a feeling they'll figure it out.
I
know?
also think that Charles might be the beginning of a much larger book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's the beginning of the story in a lot of ways.
Like some spin-off action?
I don't think necessarily a spin-off.
No.
I just think he might be at the center of it, or he might be
But I
a
think
more
there's a lot more
side character,
mysteries,
but
yeah.
there's more people and more things involved in this larger A. I don't believe it Charles is simply A and just, like, door closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me. It'll be like a whole different show, I feel like.
And I feel like there's so much to learn about Radley, too.
Right.
That's true.
And so I think I don't feel like we're gonna get a whole lot of answers about Radley. So I think that there's gonna be more about Radley.
Yeah, especially if this Charlie happened to be, all of these things that we're kind of seeing come together right now. And if he was sent off to Radley, like we've kind of had theories of before, they're going to kind of have to show some of that and, have flashbacks of what all occurred over these, 18 plus years or something like
Right. And Charlie definitely, tonight we hear he was, I think there were a couple different, comments about him. An imaginary friend, clearly not the case.
that. No.
Then we had the missing photos that somebody was in those photos. That's not an imaginary friend because,
Nope.
again, imaginary.
Yeah.
Can't show up in a photo.
I bet they told
to-
him when he went away that was his imaginary
Yeah.
friend and he wasn't actually there.
Yeah. Like you're just imagining him.
Yeah.
That's such a De Laurentiis thing to do.
Totally.
So
Like,
you,
he was so imaginary.
yeah, do you think Jason then believed that he actually had an
He was
imaginary
a kid.
He was a kid,
Yeah.
3 or 4 years old. Of course he's going to...
And a lot of kids have
Believe that.
serious imaginary friends.
Yeah.
Like they act. If you're like a creative mind kid, you actually see it. So
Yeah. It's interesting, though. Because I wasn't sure I believed Jason, to be honest. I mean, maybe in his heart he believed it was the imaginary friend. I just kind of was like, is he trying to protect something else? I wasn't sure that he actually believed it.
I really trust Jason. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, everything he says, I'm like, okay. I believe
Yeah.
you, Jason.
Yeah.
the chat roll is saying, which is something that I've been thinking actually too, about how in that scene in season or I don't remember what season it was, last season, that Allison found 2 dresses in the piano. And they were yellow dresses, and yellow is Bethany's favorite color, and the yellow top. So I don't know, maybe that's all tied together somehow.
Well, I think it's Sarah. I think Sarah is Charlie.
I kind of do too.
And I don't think it's a little boy in the picture. I think it's a little girl. Like, kids at that age, gender can go either way. You can't really tell, especially if you dress the child like a little boy.
And cut their hair.
Yeah. And I think her cutting her hair off in this episode was kind of signifying that and leaning towards, yes, I am this person. Yes, they tried to raise me or make me look like I was, you know what I mean? Or something. And
I know we've had tweets about, a transgender
I
theory.
don't think they're going to do that. I think that is just like a little too convoluted to throw on top of what is already happening on this show. Like,
So you think she was always a little girl, but dressed as a boy, like tomboy,
or
essentially.
at least looked it in that picture. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I knew a little girl in my neighborhood. That kid was like 4. When she was like 4, she had an older brother, so she always wore his clothes.
Yeah.
Because that was what was cool, because that's her older brother. So that could have been like the thing with them. Maybe the girl was a little bit younger than Jason, and, she looked up to her older brother, so she wanted to dress like a boy.
Yeah. That's what I think. And not to mention when Spencer walked into the room, or not Spencer, sorry, when Emily had walked into the room and they reveal her haircut, she had on the black hood. Mm-hmm. And then the next scene, or like whenever we see the person standing outside the window, they have on the black hoodie, and she already had it on. So I was like, oh, yep, that's it.
Interesting.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah, guys.
I think I missed that little...
I definitely think that Sarah has some secrets. Like, there's no way she's completely not hiding something. Like,
Exactly.
she's definitely hiding something.
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm giving away all my predictions, but I don't really care. But
We did this last week, too. Go for it.
But I also considered as well, if that's not the case and she's not actually Charlie, that she, was adopted and maybe was in like a foster home or something, has issues with her dad, was a runaway, etc. Maybe who Charlie actually is, she is the stepbrother or foster sister or stepsister or foster sister of that person, and that's why she is involved.
So she's trying to get... I mean, clearly at this point, she's trying to get back in. Like, she's running away twice, coming to Rosewood, and trying to get in with these girls in some capacity. And that makes me question her in every way.
Yeah.
That's where I get questions, is you ran away twice now.
Yeah.
You were offered rides back, and you didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight, I also questioned the parents a lot, I have to say.
Really?
Emily's mom, especially.
She was weird in this episode.
Like, there was something strange going on there. She seemed to know more than she was letting on, and then in other senses, like, weirdly protective of Sarah, and I wasn't sure where that was coming from, because, like, if a random girl was in your home, I know she's had, like, a tough go at it, or that's the story she's telling, but it just felt, like, really kind of clingy to her in some ways.
Yeah.
I thought the same, and I want to know why in the world was she going to visit Andrew in jail? Like, when she comes back and is like, oh, I was visiting, and he's being released. I'm like, why were you visiting?
I don't think she was visiting Andrew in jail. I think she was visiting the police station, because she used to work there, remember?
But still, I'm like, why are you visiting?
Yeah.
Why?
Weird circumstances to go under.
Maybe she was trying to get information, too. She was, like, visiting, and then she was like, well, maybe I might as well pick up some information to figure out what's going on with this.
Yeah.
And what did we think about Hannah and the counselor? That was weird. See, I was really questioning the adults tonight, I have to say, more than, for some reason...
Well, it's weird that Dr. Sullivan is back in town after how she left. It's like, did we ever know she came back?
Yeah.
No.
I think this
so
is the
all
first
of a
time we've
sudden
seen
she's back.
And working at the school.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
when did she always have a job at the school?
And
When did that
also,
happen?
I feel like maybe I'm totally remembering Dr. Sullivan wrong, and please, you can tweet at me. But I feel like they, like, changed her whole look. Is that weird?
I kind of feel like she's
She looks the
same.
same-ish.
Okay, then maybe I'm just remembering.
Someone had tweeted a theory at us, and I don't know exactly what it was, but it was about how Dr. Sullivan was involved, and she had a kid that was somehow involved. So I don't know. We'll have to look that up. But
Interesting.
that would be weird.
A former co-host here at AfterBuzz was convinced the entire time that Dr. Sullivan was A. Like, and she, like, week after week would discuss how Dr. Sullivan was A. So now that Dr. Sullivan has come back around, I'm starting to think Kelly, our former co-host, absolutely, like...
She's complex.
Yeah, like, there's definitely something there that, like, why are you back? And she seems to know everything when she's been away, which is strange.
Do you think they're going to start reintroducing a lot of old characters to put all of those thoughts in everyone's mind?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we're all like,
Or-
Ren's A, Cece's A, Dr. Sullivan's A.
Yeah.
Right. But throughout this entire 6 years, we've had these characters come and go. And we've all thought at one point or another, so and so and so and so, we're all A. Okay? So if they start bringing them back, then maybe things will be full circle if they actually were.
I don't know. See,
Who knows?
I'm now just any character that comes back in or is introduced.
Anyone who's sketchy, you're A.
I just everyone, I just feel like you can't ever say that someone is just good on this show. It is all kind
But can you ever say that anyone is just good in real life?
No, but
That was deep, Kristin.
I mean, yes, everyone has their complexities. Thank you for pointing that out. But I just, I feel that on the show, I want to be able, on most shows, you're able to kind of say, oh, this person has more good in them. And a lot of the time on this show, you don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm. I got a tweet from the Twirling Diva, and she said, you need to talk about where Mona is. She can't be left out of the group again.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's on vacation with her mom.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
And then one more thing that she said is, I don't understand why Toby has been acting hostile toward Allie and Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
What did Spencer do? Have I forgot something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Jorge
Who
in
is this
the
person? We're friends. You got all the same thoughts. as me.
Jorge in the chat said, how amazing would it be if A turns out to be all the parents? And they said, quote, it was all a joke. You had to learn a lesson.
Oh my god.
That would be the
Worst joke ever.
the worst joke ever, but also just the most amazing ending. What an
I know.
iconic ending to a show.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. Joke, bye.
I don't know if I'd want to break my TV or applaud Marlene King and be like, you fooled us all for 6 years, girl.
Well, it
Good
reminds
job.
me of not again to compare to shows, but do you remember on The Hills how they at the end of The Hills they had this whole thing of that they were on a studio lot and how
Oh, yes.
it was not a reality show, that everyone knew it was scripted and that it was this scripted show and they were all on the lot. It would be like that. It'd be like pulling back some weird curtain that
Yeah.
I don't know that you want to pull back on Pretty Little Liars.
Making a statement.
Yeah, which is a little strange for sure. But I do want to talk about the ending of the episode, and I know we've kind of gone there a bit, but with I'm totally sorry, not Sarah. Looking at
So many names.
Picture?
yeah, with Allie. Sorry, I was just everybody's name was popping in my head, but Allie's. Allie, asking her dad more about Charles and trying to get to the bottom of that photo.
Yeah, I think with the photo now, he has to answer some questions because it's so random. I mean, come on.
Did you guys not love, too, how they, completely muted his dialogue? But
Yeah.
you can hear Allie be like, what? What?
Yeah.
But he's just mouthing things. I cracked up really hard at that.
See, you cracked up and I was really frustrated.
I
was
know.
And then we see
why?
an A figure, and I'm like, seriously?
Yeah,
You're going to do this to me?
it was really frustrating. And I think it was that they over-teased the episode for me.
Yeah.
I wanted all these answers, and I'm okay with it if they don't tease it in that I'm getting answers, but I just felt like I didn't get enough tonight.
Do you know what, though? It looks like we're going to get some more next week as
Yeah.
far as, who he is, how he's related. They say he's dead, but maybe Charles is dead, but Charlie
Is alive.
is alive. It's the same person, but that part of themselves died. Hannah's giving me
I mean,
these eyes.
Like,
I don't know how I feel about that. Am I on board with you, Kristin? I don't know, but it was deep again.
I sometimes go there. It's a rare occasion.
We're going deep with Pretty Little Liars
Yeah.
tonight. It's fine.
I feel like it was a deep episode.
It was. I mean,
it was.
I do think that the people who have been tweeting us and talking about this multi-generational idea of having layers, it seemed like tonight I was definitely pointing more fingers towards those adults than I ever have in the past.
Aside from Miss Hastings, I don't know why I'm okay, it's Mr. Hastings who I don't trust, but Mrs. Hastings, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like she actually really does care about Spencer and her well-being.
I've never really thought that she was too negative of a force in Spencer's life.
I always feel like she knows more than she leads on, but I feel like that's why she's so protective over Spencer. I think she does know things, though.
She's definitely in the know, especially, I mean, she knows everything that's going on there at all times.
Yeah. I think she's, behind the scenes fighting against what she knows is hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think Ezra knows more? Because he's not the older generation. He's not the younger generation. He's kind of in that middle zone.
I don't really think so.
Okay,
don't
so we're
know.
not questioning him tonight.
No, I think like you said, he's not in their parents' generation.
Yeah.
So he's not like a parent toward them. He's more like, I don't want to, group him with the high schoolers, but he's more
Yeah.
with them.
He's still a millennial.
Exactly. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting him in the past. And I feel like every week we kind of have a new list of people that we're pointing the finger at.
Yeah.
But Sarah remains on that list for me. We talked about that some of the parents, I think we said Hannah's mom in the past has been on it. I don't know. It's interesting.
Didn't we add Emily's mom tonight too?
Emily's mom, for sure. And I think some of the police department we've definitely kind of put there permanently. So it's definitely interesting when you kind of get to that point of being...
What do you guys think about Ari and Allie and Lorenzo together?
I dig it.
Me
Yeah.
too. I'm totally digging it.
I just thought it was so strange how they're like trying to like open up this mystery, and Allie's like, well, like, what would it be like if me and my Lorenzo were together, like, digging in
She's
the
so
garden?
in like her own world.
I was like, I think you have bigger priorities right now.
I feel like that character needs something like that, like to be more of like a high school student. Like she has only been dramatic the entire show. She's never
still
had
18,
that.
yeah.
And I feel like it's actually a nice thing for her character to be given a separate little storyline aside from dealing with all this.
I kind of want to see her coach the girls' soccer team for the church.
That would be a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna go that far, but I think he's been so out of the loop on a majority of the things that have happened in Rosewood, and so I think him coming in and being like a romantic partner for her could be a good thing for her.
I don't mind them together. What I found more interesting about that pairing tonight was that Toby seemed so anti it.
Yes.
Really?
What is his problem?
I think it's on my nerves.
I mean, does he think he's trying to protect Lorenzo from Allie because she's so terrible or whatever?
I think that
just being a
there's going
butt?
to be something that we find out about him because
That one.
Yeah.
he's been acting weird all season, and I think that there's going to be more. I mean, maybe something happened while they were locked up or like in the dollhouse that we don't know about. That something happened between Toby and Allie that wasn't like putting him in jail before.
I wasn't sure if he was trying to protect Allie or protect Lorenzo. Like, I wasn't sure if he knew Lorenzo
It was
something.
Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Because he said, you know how Allie,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's
could he
definitely
be covering up something for Lorenzo? Because they're all so corrupt in that police department.
Yeah,
that
I mean, it could be.
I wasn't sure. I could see it going either way. I mean, the more obvious choice seems to obviously be protecting protecting Lorenzo, excuse me. But I could see it going either way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't know that happened while they were in the dollhouse, and so maybe something happened between Allie and Toby that we don't know about. But I feel like we're slowly getting these flashbacks, but there's so many unanswered questions that happened.
I mean, I felt like last week we got a pretty clear vision of what life was like in that dollhouse, and it was terrifying.
Right, and we got more this episode, too.
With them, none of them actually being like buzzed.
Right.
So who was anybody being buzzed? Or zapped or whatever, electrocuted?
At least it doesn't sound like any of they were. It was probably audio being screaming and
I
stuff.
honestly think that he was just playing a mind game from them with them. It's so much easier to just make people think that they're hurting each other than actually hurt them because that requires a lot more equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Sarah.
It's amazing.
Correct you on that.
They were shocking Sarah.
Yeah, and also it seems like we're gonna get some more information.
Yeah.
Next week.
Sarah seems so like broken up by the whole thing that she either has to be somewhat behind it or she was so tortured for so long.
Yeah.
She's so affected.
I think she's just sick and twisted in the head.
But what's wrong with her hair? Like
What like when she cut it?
no,
The
just
dye job?
before. Yeah, it's like it doesn't even look like they pretended to make her look like a real blonde. Like
Right.
it looks like they tried to make her look like she had a bad dye job.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is what they were trying to
Really?
do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I feel like her roots should have been like, I'm not to get really into detail.
Yeah,
but
okay.
her
But like,
routine-
was
even
A providing some bleach?
right, and even Emily said your hair looks awful or something like that.
Well, I think that it was to make it clear that she is covering something up because
Yeah.
she was somebody else. I feel like Sarah is probably not her real name. It's probably a much
Charlie.
more
Charlotte.
What?
a
Sorry.
more complex story. Yes, I could be Charlie, could be Charlotte. Thank you. But I feel like there's some other. Sarah's her new identity. It's not whatever it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or just her fake identity for now.
And I really want to know all the answers about that photo. I'm going to take it
Yeah.
there one more time and say, I want more answers.
I know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It is a little weird, though. Andrew's birth is kept sealed.
Yeah.
Very odd.
It's true.
I don't know.
They'll reveal it, I'm sure. They
Well-
have to.
He could actually, I mean, he still could be Charlie and just not know it.
Yeah, I also think
He
he doesn't look like a teenager. I mean, none of them really
No.
look like a
Tonight
teenager.
he looked really old too.
Yeah.
When him and Ari were having that confrontation, I was looking at him. I was like, "Dang, you look really old tonight."
And did anybody else think he all of a sudden sounded slightly Southern?
Yes, I said
Yeah.
that. I said, when did he become Southern?
Like, I felt like he was about ready to walk back to the barn
I know.
after that conversation.
I'm like, let me get on my horse and ride back home.
Yeah, it was an interesting, it felt like it was like a late night shoot kind
Yeah,
of
they were
situation.
really tired
They
for
were
that
really
one.
tired because it was,
Well,
definitely-
he's in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Does he have a southern accent in that?
no.
No? Hmm.
no.
We thought maybe he was just confused which show he was on.
I feel like we should give him a little more credit.
Brandy_Carson says, "Is anyone else curious to know where Noel Kahn is, or is it just me?
I'm
I feel like he's a
curious.
bigger part of the story."
And Noel's been in here, the actor who plays Noel has been in, and he seems to have a lot of answers that he was not willing to share with us. So it's very possible.
Yeah.
Sarah B says perhaps they should get him a cowboy hat.
I love Sarah B. You're real funny.
Yeah, amazing.
Put him on a horse, she said. Also, Rooter13 says that I'm A.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
That would make
She does
sense.
have all the answers.
You
And the blonde hair.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm actually the only one without the blonde hair tonight, so
Yeah.
sad day for me.
Listen, it's supposed to be brown. It just keeps fading.
I've caused Hannah to go into devastation.
I have a hair appointment set. It's next Wednesday. So everybody just hold tight.
All right. Well, on that note, maybe some news and gossip, guys.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, Heather, I want to hear the Lucy Hale story.
Guys. Okay. So I met Lucy Hale this weekend. We were at the Children's Mending Heart event, which was honoring Shay Mitchell, so she was there as well. And so Lucy came. It was her birthday. She came to support her friend. She was so nice, you guys. Super, super sweet. Got to chat with her and take a photo, so you can look at it at Heather Joy Smith on my Instagram. I literally was like, oh my god!
I was like, how many times can I like this?
I literally took the picture. I was like, how fast can I get this on Instagram? But yeah, she was so sweet, you guys. Super awesome.
Did you tell her about our show?
No.
Oh,
I
you should have been like, so when are you coming?
didn't. But I mean, if you, some of you cross over and watch Chasing Life too, and so George was on there. So I did ask him.
Oh, he was on the red carpet?
He was also on the red carpet. So I said, I'm a shipper of George and Sarah. Will they get together? And of course, he couldn't tell me. But
Of course he couldn't.
you know, he was a sweetheart too. So they were all super nice this weekend.
Did you see Shay? Because I know she was
Yes,
there.
Shay was like this close to me, but she did photos really quick, and then she
left.
moved on. She didn't like talk to any of the video media there, yeah. But she was, oh my god, gorgeous, you guys, in
I believe
person.
that.
Like I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, she's beautiful. But yeah, her and Lucy were so cute. They were like hugging each other when they first got there, and it was like so cute, you know, just to see them in like
Yeah.
normal life.
In normal life.
You know?
Outside of my TV screen.
Right, outside of my TV screen, yeah.
Well, I'm so glad. That's such a fun story. All right. So we also have some other news and gossip. Ashley Benson just signed on to the feature film Radar, and she's playing Emma, a young college graduate who is living in New York and who thinks someone is following her every move through her computer and cell phone. So kind
like
of
pretty much Pretty Little Liars in a movie.
Yeah, and it's based on a shorter film, so definitely something that will go into production. I'm gonna be there weekend one, I guarantee it. So anything that's like Pretty Little Liars and Ashley Benson, I'm in for that. That it sounds like so much fun, and like it is definitely kind of the same take of like someone following you and having to get away, I'm sure, and all of that. So something fun. And then Sasha, we all talked about this actually when we were watching the show, stood up to all the body shamers online, which I think is amazing. Such a great thing for her to do. People have been making comments about her weight and her body and all these things, and she wrote a longer post on Instagram, which you should definitely check out because it's just about loving yourself and, you know, that she's had a medical issue that has affected her weight and that she's working on it. And I just love that the actual picture on Instagram was, "I'm currently under construction. Thanks for your patience." And I just thought it was like such a sweet thing, and it's such a great message, especially for young girls who watch Pretty Little Liars.
Exactly.
Because she's still beautiful no matter what she weighs, whether it was the first season or now. She's still gorgeous.
Yes,
so.
absolutely.
And you have to take in consideration, when she started the show, she was 12 years old. She's now 19. She's also the youngest out of all of the girls. So, I mean, there's that. That's a huge span to be on TV.
And I know that she said that she's dealing with medical, like, since she's dealing with medical issues, one of her things was, like, deal with them in a healthy way rather than, you know, she could be puking up her lunch every day and she'd probably be thinner, but that's not a healthy way to deal with it. So.
No, exactly. And I think it's about self-acceptance, and that's what her message really underlined, was that regardless of what you're going through, to, like, be okay with yourself. And I think it's hard to do that, but if you can, it's a lovely thing.
Yeah, and I love our chat roll. They're all like, "Yeah, go Sasha."
Oh, yeah, thanks, supportive.
You're good chatters.
And Vanessa Ray, of course, I want to send a big, best wishes to her, because she
Who plays Sarah?
Who plays Sarah? I was just about to say who plays Sarah. Got married over the weekend to her longtime love, London Beard, and they had like a really lovely ceremony. Apparently, there was a sing-along that happened with their guests. So a really adorable wedding and
wedding goals.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag wedding goals. And it was just, the photos are really, really pretty, and just it looks like a really sweet ceremony.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So are we ready? I know we've done some predictions,
Your
but
AfterBuzz TV
We're ready.
predictions.
yes, we are absolutely ready. Thank you, Steven. So anyone want to jump in with one?
Oh, okay.
Don't all go at once.
Okay.
We're all like, we got to gather our thoughts.
I know. We really got to gather our thoughts on this one. But, like, I think that Charlie was absolutely the boy or girl in the photo. Okay. I think when they said Charlie has to go bye-bye or whatever, he went to Radley. She went to Radley. I don't even know if it was a boy or girl, because you're making me second think this.
Yeah.
Which is so funny, because when we first saw Sarah, I thought it was a guy. So, I don't know.
I did too.
Quality.
So, okay. I definitely think she is part of this, because I think it was too weird how A came with the knife on the little video chat, and then all of a sudden they all get home and she's there, like, getting out of the shower like nothing happened. Like, I don't know. It just seems too weird to me. I think she's behind it somehow. I'm not really sure how, but I think she's in it. I don't really know. I have so many different thoughts, but they all don't make sense if I tell them all together.
I know, it's crazy. You all know how I feel about Sarah, so I won't go into that again. I think Mona's going to come back, and I don't think Mona's on a vacation. I think Mona's doing some little sneaky research on her own, being typical Mona. So I think she's got some answers that she's going to come back with, and some like new information to share with the group. And I think it's time for Toby to go, and I want some Roma Mafia again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You guys missed our finale last season. She was hilarious.
She's the best.
And now I just want her to be on the show all the time.
I know.
Like,
She
bring
plays
Roma back.
Tanner for all of you who don't know her real name.
We need some Tanner to come in and lay down the law
I
between
know.
all these
Yeah.
ladies.
Things only get done when she's around.
It's true.
Exactly.
The cops are just willy-nilly running around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Andrew, if they didn't have to watch their back from Andrew before, now that he wants revenge, it's clear, and I think that's going to play out in the next few episodes, because they say, 3 weeks to graduation, so I think he's going to go after these girls in some capacity. I don't think he's just going to sit back and let, things go by and them graduate. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't necessarily think it's going to be violent, but I think it's going to be terrible in some capacity for them.
Sorry, update. Vanessa Ray plays Cece.
Oh, sorry.
the show.
Did we
said
make
Sarah. It's
Oh.
Cece. Yeah.
That was sorry.
She has a cute little crop top wedding dress.
It's adorable. It's really sweet. It's on E. You should check it out. It's awesome. That being said, I just think Andrew, they may have pinpointed the wrong person or, accused the wrong
As
person.
usual.
But now they have to be careful around him, I would think.
Oh, yeah. I feel like he might be out for revenge now.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't before, he probably is now.
100%.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's my theory. I also think that there's Charles. I think that Charles is somehow really... I don't know. I kind of agree with you that Charles and Charlie and Sarah are the same person because she could honestly play a boy and with the right kind of makeup be a boy. So...
She looked so much like Miley Cyrus, though.
She does. She looks a lot like Miley Cyrus.
Charlie is also occasionally a girl's name, too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean... She could totally be, or like you said, that little boy could have been a little girl, and it could be her, and she could be just...
Like, guys, just keep telling me this.
You're right, Hannah. Your theory is
Always
right.
Hannah.
Duh. I'm always right for the moment, and then next week I'll be wrong.
Well, next week, I hope we get more answers. That's really the bottom line of what I'm looking for. Although I have to say that fans always point out to me that we're only in... episode 3 of season 6. So, there's more to come in season 6. And we have, I think, 7 more episodes to the time jump because it's going to happen after this summer season. And it'll start back up with 6B, if you will, episode 11.
When did they start taping again or filming again? Does anyone know?
They started last week, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're in it already. And we will try to get scoop on that for sure. But
Oh, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Lucy said that they go until October to film, and they get 1 week off here in a couple weeks, and she's going to Hawaii.
Oh,
nice.
exciting. All
Go to
right.
Hawaii in a couple weeks, guys.
I was going to say.
I just want to give a shout out to everybody that was in our chat roll. Thank you for joining us. Marie, Brandy, Sarah, Rooter 13, Boo 69Bs.
Yeah, Boo 69.
Ducky, everybody else that joined us. Thank you. I
Thank
loved
you.
reading
Thanks,
everything that you
guys.
guys had to say.
Yeah, and it's always the best to have your comments as
Yeah.
we're doing our show, so keep on doing that. And you can always find AfterBuzz on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV, and you can find me all over social media at Stephanie Wenger.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kristin_Strange. Look out for a special presentation by us later today.
Yeah, you guys, we have something really fun coming your way.
Oh, yeah, real fun. I'm real excited about it.
You better be!
Yes.
You all can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Hotshot Dude.
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Heather Joy Smith. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
See you next week.
From
Bye.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.